Hey, what's up, guys? Merry Christmas Eve, and if I don't catch you tomorrow, Merry Christmas. Just been prepping all day here for our big Christmas party. We usually get, I think, like 40 some people up here for Christmas. Basically, everyone comes over Christmas Day in the evening after they've had their gifts and their big dinner, and then we have a big ornament decorating thing and everything like that. Lots of food, as you know, we usually do. So if anyone's up here in Central PA or anything like that, feel free to stop by. There'll be plenty of stuff for everybody. Um, yeah, Sean, like I said, definitely Ed Curry. That's a good topic for videos on real world items. I feel like I've kind of missed out a little bit, like because a lot of my items I feel like have been to augment my character in some way, like to make up for, because like items are interesting in that way. Like with generations, that was something early on. Is like so much of what your character could do was stat picks. So like if you're, if you want to make a fast character, like it behooves you to have an item to augment your speed, rather than relying on, like, it's like you could pick terrible in your speed number and then your speed power. And then to be stuck as a slower character. But like items were kind of a surefire way for that. So I think like a lot of my items were picked, much less so for uniqueness and more so for self augmentation. Like Zeratul had, I think he had a symbiote. And this, okay, so what I'll preface by saying is the two greatest items I've found in Generations were Hellspawn armor, which is what Artanis had, or Atticus. I'm sorry, I get those two names mixed up. Too many A names. Atticus had, which I still say is probably my best investment for a character because, well, okay, there's a preface here. Being a Hellspawn kind of enslaves you to a demon lord to an extent. And I guess enslave is kind of strong. Like he wanted me to do his own bidding, and it was leading up to like me basically rejecting him, and it was leading up to a large confrontation. I never got to that confrontation because I got killed by a member of the crew before I got there. But as far as like an item went, as power went, its versatility was insane. Like it boosted durability, it boosted I think like strength and speed. It like had regenerative type abilities. Like the armor itself could regenerate. The cloak had its own like kind of set of abilities when it came to like hiding and, yeah, like kind of like what you expect out of Spawn. And I was a big fan of like the Spawn. I liked the movie, as bad as it was, and I love the Keith David version. I forget, it was HBO or something like that. So yeah, like the cloak was awesome, and the probably like the pinnacle of it was the chains. Like the chains, I remember being so insanely vicious because, like, they just tore through people. Like I don't know what it was. It was special. Like if it was like some sort of Hellfire chain, or if it was like some Ghost Rider level stuff, or whatever it was. Whatever these chains were, they were very good at wrapping people up and then making a twisting motion and then literally just turning them into ribbons, like just shredding them. So they were pretty everything in that regard. It really kind of, it's one of those ones where I liked it because it's not something that you can have easily taken away, which is something we always worry about. It's something that gave a lot of versatility to my character. Like I was more of a caster, like with the magnetism thing. Like I was like the not, I don't want to say not the best fighter, but like I was an okay fighter. But like the chains really like bumped up my fighting ability, and then even then like the suit allowed me to push myself further than I normally would be able to go because of all the benefits it had with it. Um, yeah, so like that was my top item, I think. And then my second place item was Zeratul. Zeratul, I'm pretty sure, had a symbiote, but I think my psionic power was so strong that I never really, like, I just basically kept the symbiote at bay more so than I. You know what? I'm probably what's probably more likely is I'm forgetting some of the interactions we had, but I'm pretty sure he had a symbiote. I gotta find that. Actually, I don't know what my character sheet is, but I think that he did. And the symbiote actually wasn't as good. Maybe I picked really poor numbers with it. Maybe I had it incinerated one too many times and it finally died and I just kind of forgot about it or something like that. Or maybe I'm just completely misremembering. But I'm pretty sure he had a symbiote. But the Hellspawn armor definitely trumped it. It might have been just I picked lousy numbers for the symbiote and picked better for the Hellspawn armor. But it was definitely the stronger of the two. But like those are two items that I kind of loved because it's like you get a almost like a second entity or a second set of abilities on top of anything that you've already had. It's like, oh yeah, as far as an item goes, like they add a host of things. Like it's not necessarily a very specific like a narrow focus of like DM I want to boost my speed, but it's like it gives you a lot of versatility when it comes to things. The more I think about it, the more I'm pretty sure Zeratul had a symbiote. I seem to remember like that being part of his fighting thing where he would like do like the lance out and try to stab somebody. But yeah, like for me, those two items, like they don't encompass like the powerful kind of thing like a Sword of the Ancients, and which again I don't know how much this was the sword and how much was Herald, which Kareem had said about, but like yeah, as far as like making a character that might have some weaknesses when it comes to like strength or durability or anything like that, bringing them up to par, those two items to me stand out as very strong items that kind of give you that extra layer of versatility, of protection, of a host of abilities. Now, I think both of them come with potential downsides. Like I think if Zeratul wasn't as strong as a psychic and he had weak willpower or something like that, like the symbiote might have just taken over. But I think I recall that just because of his nature, like his nature as a psionic being, he was able to pretty much keep it easily in check. And the same with the Hellspawn armor. It came with some downsides. Like there's some big demon lord who would show up and drag me into this hellish landscape every now and again and be like, yeah, listen, I want you to do this, this, and this. I'm like, yeah, screw you, man. Those to me are like my best two character items. I said the one that always cracks me up is whenever the DM would like, I think in Generations, like sometimes you'd get a minor item, and for some reason we'd always pick something dumb, like a pack of gum that never loses its flavor, or a pack of gum that always has another stick of gum in it. And it was just like one of those really, really stupid items that wasn't overly powerful or anything like that. But like you could offer it as a bargaining chip or something like that. Like, hey man, you want a piece of gum instead of killing me? Alright, no? Okay, well, it was worth a shot. The other best item came from D&D with Janelle's campaign with Ty and Jeff's rings that they had no clue what they did, so they pointed it at everything, and sometimes it would glow or something like that, but usually it would do nothing. It was the great mystery, and it didn't need to be solved, because they would just, the first thing they do is like, DM, I put my ring at it. Alright, it kind of glows a little bit, but nothing really happens. Alright, DM, okay. You see a crate over there. I put my ring at it. It's like, oh my gosh, alright, nothing happens. But, yeah, like I said, the funny items too, like, you know, real world's like for fun and everything like that. Like, yeah, there's serious, and then there's also like the fun aspect of it. But we definitely embrace that with our goofy items, our packs of gum that didn't lose their flavor. And it's like, yeah, it only has 5 sticks, but once you put that piece of gum in your mouth, like, it's always going to be good. Like, it's not going to break down, it's not going to lose flavor. It's always had that minty, fresh breath when you're dealing with someone who wants to kill you. Maybe it'll change their opinion of you a little bit. It's like, oh wow, guy's really fresh breath. Maybe I won't kill him. But yeah, it was kind of disheartening to hear that I'm assuming whenever he was talking about like the prime days of Generations, or not the prime days, because Generations still in its prime. Let's not kid ourselves here. But like whenever we were getting in a lot more real world, I guess is the best way to put it, was that there was all these items hidden around and stuff like that. It's like no one found any. It's like, oh my gosh. It was probably, and I said that was one of those ones I still think back to those days, and it's like we were pretty crappy role players. But I think it was like one of those ones where with a big group like that, you know, it was more, we were probably like looking to have fun and goof off kind of thing, as opposed to like taking things as seriously as we might have otherwise. Like there's choices I look back on and stuff like that that were more for a group than my own personal character, or like there was goofy things that we did that was like for that reason too. So yeah, that's, I mean, and like I said, you know, ultimately real world is for fun and everything, so I don't like regret it or anything like that, but I feel like we probably missed some opportunities doing stuff like that because we were too busy dicking around. But yeah, I'm trying to think of any other items like that I've had or enjoyed throughout the real world experienced. I remember one of my first characters in Generations had like this suit of armor, and he lost it in his very first session because he got attacked while he was putting it on and never got to finish putting it on, and then it was like the group managed to flee the planet from whatever was attacking them because I got dragged into their mess, and I left the armor there, and I was like, well, that was an item well spent. um, yeah, but like for me personally, like I'm all for the sets of armor, like whether it is that was something I asked the DM about, like getting like an Iron Man, like his Infinity War, his nanite armor that's like reactive to his thoughts or his will. Like I was gonna try to get something like that for Cass, so he could at least be in the realm of not getting completely chumped out. But like, you know, like I said, that's one of those ones. Like I don't think Cass is ever going to be able to do anything to X in that regard. Like just because there's such a gap between the characters when it comes to movies and stuff like that. But like as far as his game went, like I was like, oh yeah, Cass could something like that. That'd be pretty cool. But then I was like, or I could spend it on another healing ability that I don't really need. So I went that route instead. Anything I can do to keep myself from having to throw a punch at somebody. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there was any other, because like I said, Atticus and Zeratul were my two biggest. Like I don't remember if Omen had any cool items or anything like that. Like I think Omen was in my like kind of downplay stage, so I probably didn't go for anything as crazy on him. Whereas like Atticus and Zeratul were like more power gaming kind of things, where I was looking to make a powerful, well-balanced character. Yeah, I don't remember anything from Drew's game necessarily. Oh yeah, why I forgot it is because the sword that you unsheath, it can detonate a star. Because Ninja Dude came along and put me in my place. Like that was a cool item on paper, but it didn't work out that well because I just started to unsheath it at any moment. Because after I got chumped out so many times, I was like, screw it, DM. I unsheathed the sword, and I think the DM wasn't anticipating me doing that, and he had to downplay the power of it. What's his name? Not Artanis. Aluxis. The Rain and the Luxus duo of Drew's game had a sword. He was part of the Solarians, and his sword was basically like a lightsaber, but it matched the level of he could do with his energy. So it was kind of like a soul. I mean, not this. I think soul sabers are a lot more complicated. I don't know exactly what they do. I only wanted to throw mine around in Generations. I got it, but yeah, like it kind of acted like where it had like a white star core to it, so like it would incinerate anything that it came across. Kind of like a lightsaber, only probably trumped up a little bit, probably souped up a little bit. That was a pretty cool sword, but then again, it was Drew's game, so like people would block it with their bare hands. Like some random ninja would come up and be like, "Damn, you blocked my sword." It's like a lightsaber, only instead of like plasma, it's like the heart of a star. Yeah, player, he blocked it with his hand. All right, DM, you got it. You got him. Yeah, those are the big items that I can think of. It's all like it's one of those ones where I always look through whatever the Generations store was up. Like I always like, and even like all the stores like that have items. Like I always like to look at them and kind of like, oh man, what's that? Wonder what that does. Like the whole. What's it called? What are the weapons called? Like the sword of the ancients is part of all archive weapons. Like the archive weapons and stuff like that in Generations are an interesting set of things that I don't know much about but would like to know more. And it's one of those mysteries that are out there about Generations that has not been unveiled by and large, but are always fascinating. I think does Eric have an archive weapon? I don't know if that bow is or not. But yeah, archive weapons are awesome. Like having Generations having its own suit of weapons that are like kind of from this ancient place is awesome. So yeah, sorry to the DM of Generations that we missed all the items that you threw out there. I'm sure they would have been awesome. But we were terrible role players back then, so we probably missed easy clues and hints because we were too busy destroying spaceships and getting new packs of gum that didn't run out of flavor. All right. Yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody there. I might put up a secondary video here. I think I know what I'm gonna do for the last gift for Unleashed, but it's not gonna be time sensitive, so I'll just get it out here when I can over the next couple days.